I always knew Blueface was pretty stupid. I'm gonna tell you why. Blueface is signed to Wack100 and managed by Wack100. Let me tell you how this works. When you sign to a label, they take at least half already. Then you're getting managed by the guy who owns the label. So of your 50% that you're getting, or less than 50%, he's still taking at least 20% of that too. It's double dipping. You get what I'm saying?
I look at his wife at the time like, excuse me, man, like, would you insist on your son signing this right here? Like, like if I was your son, would you recommend it? She was like, yeah, I would. And I signed at that time. That was like my confirmation.
No lawyer, no nothing.
No lawyer, no nothing.
Wack100 was supposed to be Blueface's manager and business partner, but many believe he ended up finessing millions from him instead. Wack100, a longtime Los Angeles music manager known for controversy, built his name in the streets before managing artists like The Game and Ray J. His most profitable and questionable relationship, though, came with Blueface, born Jonathan Porter, was a young street dude who accidentally blew up after Thosiana went viral. He had no real knowledge of contracts, management, or the music business, which made him easy to take advantage of. According to Blueface, Wack100 reached out after his daughter heard the song. Blueface was hesitant because Wack's reputation was full of drama, but Wack stayed persistent, constantly calling and pushing for a meeting. At the time, Blueface was handling everything on his own and felt major labels did not understand his background. Eventually, Wack sent a car to pick him up and brought him to his mansion, clearly flexing his wealth to impress him. The craziest part is, Wack already had a contract prepared before they even talked business. When Blueface asked Wack's wife if she would want her own son to sign it, she said yes. And that reassurance pushed Blueface to move forward with a deal that would later raise serious questions.
His wife at the time like, excuse me, man, like, would you insist on your son signing this right here? Like, like if I was your son, would you recommend this? She was like, yeah, I would. And I signed at that time. That was like my confirmation.
No lawyer, no nothing.
No lawyer, no nothing.
Okay.
After hearing that response from Wack's wife, Blueface signed the contract on the spot. No lawyer, no time to review the paperwork, no real understanding of what he was agreeing to. He signed because he trusted that a mother would not lead him wrong. That decision ended up costing him big. This is where Wack100's finesse really comes into focus. The agreement was not just a standard management deal, it was a combined record and management contract. That setup allowed Wack to get paid twice from the same money. As the label, Wack took 50% of all music revenue right off the top. Then, as Blueface's manager, he took another 20% from what was left. When you do the math, that is 70% of Blueface's earnings going straight to Wack100. DJ Academics later broke it down on his stream and called it exactly what it was: double dipping.
This new Blueface was pretty stupid. I'm gonna tell you why. Blueface is signed to Wack100 and managed by Wack100. Let me tell you how this works. When you sign to a label, they take at least half already. Then you're getting managed by the guy who owns the label. So of your 50% that you're getting, or less than 50%, he's still taking at least 20% of that too. It's double dipping.
In the music industry, contracts are not just paperwork. They decide who owns the art, who controls the money, and who truly benefits when success arrives. For new artists, especially those coming straight from the streets, contracts can feel like a formality instead of a life-changing decision. That misunderstanding is where many careers begin to fall apart before they even fully take off. Blueface's situation is a perfect example of how fast fame, mixed with inexperience, can lead to long-term damage when the wrong people are given too much control. From the outside, Wack100 appeared to be exactly what Blueface needed at the time. He was loud, confident, well-connected, and surrounded by visible wealth. To a young artist who had just gone viral overnight, that image sends a powerful message. It suggests protection, guidance, and a clear path to the top. What Blueface saw was success. What he did not see was how carefully the business side was being positioned behind the scenes. In the music industry, appearance often matters more than truth, and that illusion can be extremely convincing. One of the biggest red flags in this entire situation was how quickly the deal was presented. There was no extended conversation about long-term goals. There was no negotiation process. There was no encouragement to seek legal advice. Instead, the contract was already prepared before Blueface even arrived. That alone shows intent. Deals that truly benefit artists are rarely rushed. They involve back and forth, revisions, and outside opinions. When a contract is pushed quickly, it is usually because the person offering it knows time and pressure work in their favor. Blueface was young, excited, and operating purely on instinct. He trusted the environment instead of understanding the system. The reassurance he received made the situation feel safe, almost family-like. That sense of comfort is dangerous in business, especially in an industry known for exploitation. Contracts do not care about vibes or intentions. They only care about percentages, ownership, and control. Once signed, emotion disappears, and the paperwork becomes law. The structure of the deal itself was where the real damage happened. By combining a record deal and a management deal into one agreement, Wack100 placed himself in a position of total authority. As a label, he reportedly took half of Blueface's music income immediately. That means before expenses, before reinvestment, before anything else, 50% was already gone. Then, as manager, he took an additional 20% from what remained. This left Blueface with roughly 30% of the revenue generated by his own work. For a major artist, that is crippling. When people hear numbers like platinum records and viral success, they automatically assume financial security. What most fans do not realize is how quickly money disappears when percentages stack up. After label cuts, management fees, taxes, legal costs, lifestyle expenses, and business investments, that remaining share becomes surprisingly small. An artist can look rich online while struggling to maintain stability in real life. That illusion is one of the most common traps in entertainment.dj, academics publicly breaking down. The deal brought wider attention to the issue. When he called it double dipping, it resonated because it described exactly what was happening. The same income stream was being drained twice by the same person under different titles. Even though this type of setup can be written to look legal, it raises serious ethical questions. It takes advantage of a young artist's lack of knowledge and locks them into a system that is nearly impossible to escape without major consequences. As time passed, the effects of that deal became more visible. Blueface's career momentum slowed. Legal problems and jail time interrupted his run. Business ventures connected to his name began facing issues. Reports surfaced suggesting that the financial outcome did not match the level of fame he once had. Whether every rumor is accurate or not, the pattern is familiar. When an artist does not control their finances, success becomes temporary. Once the spotlight fades, the money is already gone. Another major issue with deals like this is how restrictive they are. When the same person controls management and label decisions, the artist loses leverage. Disagreements turn into legal battles. Leaving becomes expensive and risky. Many contracts include clauses that extend control even after the relationship ends. Album requirements, ownership of masters, and repayment terms can keep an artist trapped for years. Even when the artist stops making music, the contract continues to work against them. What makes this situation even more tragic is that it is not rare. The music industry has a long history of young artists being taken advantage of at their most vulnerable moment. Fame comes fast, money starts flowing, and experienced industry figures step in offering guidance. The artist feels grateful and protected, unaware that the real profit is being redirected elsewhere. By the time they understand what they signed, it is already too late. Blueface's story highlights a hard truth. Talent alone is not enough to survive in the industry. Without education, legal protection, and trusted advisors, success can turn into a trap. The same deal that introduces an artist to fame can also limit their freedom, finances, and future. His experience serves as a warning to upcoming artists watching from the sidelines. Never confuse opportunity with protection. Never rush a signature. And never assume that someone else has your best interests at heart just because they look successful. At the end of the day, contracts outlive hype. Viral moments fade. Fans move on. But paperwork stays permanent. Blueface's situation shows how one rushed decision can shape an entire career. It is not just a story about money lost. It is a story about control taken, trust misplaced, and lessons learned the hard way. For anyone trying to make it in the music industry, this is not just entertainment. It is a cautionary tale written in real life.